Good evening. How are you all? I hope you all are fine. Today we are come with the new session of the optional full length geography optional full length paper discussion. So without wasting of any time, we are come to the point. Okay, this is the optional second paper. How you can approach. Before we are going to discuss the paper, firstly you have to read instructions properly. Question number 1 and 5 is compulsory. It means we have section A, we have section B, and each section have 4 questions: 1, 2, 3 and 4, and here is 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 5 is compulsory. 1 and 5 is compulsory. 1 and 5 is compulsory, and remaining out of 6, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Remaining out of 6, you have to attempt 3. So it is depends upon you ki how many questions or the segments you can attempt from section 1, or how many question or segment you have to attempt from section 2. But remaining any 3 question need to be attempted by choosing at least one from each sections. From each section, the number of marks carried by the question and part is indicated against it. Okay, तो आपको जो मन करे वो कीजिएगा. Now we are come to the question. This is the segment of short questions. One question number 1 is compulsory. Answer any 5 question of the following. We have 7 questions. Write a short notes on geomorphic processes. Whenever the term geomorphic processes are the processes which operates from the internal structure and from the external factors. Like geomorphic processes are just simply you have to write down what is geomorphic processes. Geomorphic geomorphic processes are two type of processes. One is exogenetic and one is endogenetic. Exogenetic have the process of weathering and the process of erosion. An endogenetic process is the diastrophic diastrophic and catastrophic process. Catastrophic, we all are know that ki geomorphic processes are the process which operates from the external and operates from the internal factors. So you have to just simply explain what is endogenetic processes. Endogenetic processes, it means diastrophic, the processes are works very gradually, and catastrophic processes are the processes which operates from the internal structure in a very sudden movement. Exogenetic processes are commonly known as denudational processes, and denudational process is further divided into 2 parts. One is weathering and one is erosion. We all are know that the weathering is a immobile process when the rocks are bricked and transportation is absent, and erosion is a process where the transportation and mobility is inculcate. Okay, now so you have to simply just write down about this in a very short manner. Okay, we are moving to the another question where we talks about the geosyncline. So in this question you have to simply break the question. Geo, it means earth, and syncline, it means depression. Syncline, it means depression. And firstly talks about geosyncline. Geosyncline, what is geosyncline? We all are know that geosyncline is a narrow elongated depression within the plates. So you have to just simply explain geosyncline and types of geosyncline. Types of geosyncline, you have to mention. The first type of geosyncline is lithogenesis. You have to mention orogenesis, process of orogenesis, and you have to mention the process of glyptogenesis. The process of glyptogenesis. Lithogenesis, the process when the mountains are eroded or the exogenetic agents are eroding the, you can say that, the continental part and fill the narrow and elongated shallow depression, and after some time, because of contraction, the sediments are, which are depressed and lithified, or because of lithogenesis, the sediments are subsided, and the horizontal movement has been created because of contraction, because of subsidence of the geosyncline. So you have to mention lithogenesis, orogenesis, and glyptogenesis is the process of the peniplanation. Okay, so you have to just simply add on and write down all these factors. I hope that will clear. And third question, write a short notes on inversion of temperature. What is the means of inversion of temperature? Geography have the beauty. Geography always tell us the meaning itself. Inversion of temperature. Inversion, it means the reversal of the cycle of temperature. Reversal of the cycle of temperature. What is the means of reversal of the cycle of temperature? In the normal condition, with increasing altitude, with increasing height, temperature will drop down at the rate of 1000 meter, 6.5 degrees Celsius. It is called normal lapse rate. So this condition is reverse. When with increasing altitude, temperature also increase. It is called the condition of thermal inversion. So firstly, you have to explain what is thermal inversion. In this question, you have explained the types of thermal inversion as well. How many types of thermal inversion can be possible, like the stratospheric thermal inversion, the valley or mountainous thermal inversion, the plain thermal inversion. There is a radiative thermal inversion, conductive thermal inversion. There are so many variety. You have to just simply mention all the name, and in a very crispy manner, in a very short and crispy manner, you have to write down all these types. I hope that a short period of discussion gave you the good insight about the topics. Okay, we are just simply move on to the next question, which talks about discuss in detail in this tricellular model of atmospheric circulation. What is the tricellular model of atmospheric circulation? We all are know that the tricellular model of atmospheric circulation is the model which talks about the Hadley cell, which talks about the Ferrel cell, which talks about the polar cell. We all are know that the pressure belts has been generated because of two factors. One factor is the temperature, and the second factor is the dynamic factor or the mechanical factors. We all are know that because of high or the maximum amount of solar insolation received on the equatorial region, because of this reason earth's surface gets heated. When the earth's surface gets heated, the air which lies over the earth's surface also gets heated, and when the air molecules are gets heated, they are rising up vertically, and the pressure has been low in the equatorial region, and it can develop the condition of equatorial low pressure. And when the air rise up vertically because of thermal gradient and air accumulate in the troposphere, it develops the equatorial high pressure on the atmosphere. And we all are know that the winds are moving from high pressure to low pressure. That equatorial high pressure moves towards the pole, and because of dynamic factor, the air subsided in the subtropical high pressure and again bifurcate into two direction. One is poleward, one is equatorward, and this cycle is known as Hadley cell. And in the same thing in the polar region, because the slantiness of sun is increasing towards the polar region, the amount of insolation goes on decreasing, and it is the condition of solar minima. And because of it is the condition of solar minima, so when the earth's surface gets colder, the air which lies over the earth's surface also gets colder, and because of this reason the air is, you can say that, settled down near the earth's surface. Because of this reason, polar region have high pressure, and in the atmosphere of the polar region there is a low pressure. So we know that the air, when the high pressure of the earth surface, air diverges and moves towards the subpolar region or moves towards the equatorial region. And we all are know that the subtropical high pressure, one limb of the subtropical high pressure and one limb of the polar high pressure meets, and because of thermal contrast there is a frontogenesis, and it led to the development of condition of low subpolar low pressure belt, and it is this cycle is known as Ferrell cycle, and the another cycle is known as polar cycle. You have to just simply explain all the cycles from Hadley cell to Ferrell cell to the polar cell. Okay, I hope that will give you the another very deep insight about what you have to write in this question. Okay, now the another question is soil genesis. We all are know that here the question is soil genesis. Genesis, it means this question demanding the factors of the formation of soil. What are the factors which are responsible for the genesis of the soil? So just you simply in this question you have to write down biological factors. Biological factors, in this question you have to just simply write down the biological factors, chemical factors, chemical factors and the physical factors. These are the factors which are responsible for the soil genesis. तो आपको इस क्वेश्चन में क्या करना था, you have to just write down what is soil and what are the factors which are responsible for the formation and genesis of the soil genesis, and you have to just simply mention the biological factors, the chemical factors and the physical factors. Okay, now we are again moving to the another question. Write a short notes on TS diagram. Write a short notes on TS diagram. TS diagram is also known as hyspographic curve. Hyspographic curve. It is the TS diagram is also the hyspographic curve. In this question you have to just simply mention the hyspographic curve, or the TS diagram is just simply about the high summits of the continent and deeper summits or deeper trenches in the ocean. This profile has been showing in the TS diagram because the TS diagram is the hyspographic curve from the highest summit of the continental part to the deepest trenches or deepest point on the ocean. You have to just simply show all the profile in the hyspographic curve. Okay, now in the next question we are moving forward to the next question, zonal and azonal soil. In this question you have to just simply mention what is zonal soil and what is azonal soil. Geography have again the beauty, you can find out the beauty of geography. Geography always tell the meaning of itself. Zonal soil, the soil which are generating, which are founding in a fixed latitude are the zonal soils, and the soils which are find out in not mandatory or not essential find out in a particular latitude is known as azonal soil. So you have to just simply mention the peduncle and pedalfur or the zonal soil, and the azonal soils have chernosum, chestnut, these type of soil. You have to just simply put it down in your answer. Okay, now in this segment one more thing I want to tell you here. Answer of any 5 question in amongst the 7 question you have to answer any of 5. So you have to just choose where on which question you have to comfortable, and because of this reason instruction is very important to read instructions very carefully. Okay, now we are further moved to the second section. Answer the following question. Write a short notes on ocean bottom relief in about 250 words. Ocean bottom relief. We all know that when the topic comes it is a very vague and wide topic. You have to write down a lot of things on ocean bottom topography. Whenever the term is ocean bottom topography, you have to just simply says that what is the meaning of ocean bottom topography, and you have to mention some introduction or some intro. Before the Challenger expedition, the majority of the common mans have believed that the ocean floors are featureless, and after the Challenger expedition, the illusion has been bricked, and the peoples are accepting that the oceans have more topographical elevation, more topographical diversity than the continent. And you have to just simply mention on the ocean bottom topography from the continental shelf to the shelf break, from the shelf break to the continental slope, from continental slope have some feature like the canyon. You have to mention the continental slope and canyon, and after that you have to mention slope break, and you have to also mention the continental rise, and then you have to talk about the abyssal plain. And in the abyssal plain you have to mention yachts, you have to mention sea mounts, you have to mention volcanic islands, you have to mention trenches, and explain all this. And you have to also mention the economic importance of the continental shelf, like the continental shelf have almost 20% of the petroleum and natural gas reserves. We also know that the ocean bottoms are the rich source of polymetallic nodules, and that is why the term quoted, oceans are the last hope of mankind. You have to remember this quote, oceans are the last hope of mankind, because we almost exploit all the resources from the continent. So only the oceans which are, you can say that mans are moving and seeing towards ocean in a very hopefully manner, because the oceans are the reservoir of the minerals. You have to remember this, and this type of content you have to put on your question. Okay, now the next question is, give an account on the sustainable development and its component. We all are know that sustainable development. In this question, just simply break the topic and write down what is sustainable development. We all are know that sustainable development term is come from the sustainable development is term is come from the limits of growth, the concept of limits of growth, and after that club of Rome, and after that it is mentioned in the our common future report. You have to just start from this intro, and you have to mention what is the sustainable development. Definition of sustainable development, we all are know that sustainable development is something which, without exploiting or without degrading the quality of resources, quality of environment, and we have to conserve the resources for upcoming generation without compromising our interest and our utilization. So this is the sustainable development. You have to mention the components of sustainable development, and also mention in the last 17 sustainable development goals between 2015 to 30. Okay, now we are moving forward to the another question. The next question is, explain and illustrate. Firstly, find out the tail words. Explain and illustrate the ocean floor topography and give a detailed account of mid-Atlantic ridge. Okay, in this question, the question is discussing the ocean floor topography, ocean bottom topography, and a special mention of Atlantic Ocean, mid-Atlantic oceanic ridges. How, you have to just simply talks about how the mid-Atlantic ridge were formed, and you have to connect it to the sea floor spreading theory, and you have to also mention some of the paleomagnetic evidences which are kept in the mid-Atlantic ridge. You have to mention in this question. Okay, now again we are moving to the another section. Answer the following question. The soil erosion and soil degradation are the threat to food supply. So in this question, firstly you have to talk about what is soil erosion. Soil erosion is something, soil erosion and soil degradation is, you can say that sometimes soil erosion and soil degradation cannot be separately studied. because they have very close vicinity. Under the soil erosion there is a soil degradation. Soil erosion, it doesn't means only the removal of the organic materials from the upper layer. Soil erosion is something which caused by over irrigation. Soil erosion is basically caused by the over clogging. Soil erosion is basically because of the illegal settlement. Soil erosion is basically because of deforestation. So there are so many reasons, including natural reasons as well as the anthropogenic reasons. You have to just simply say that what is soil erosion and soil degradation unconnected with the food supply. We all are know that if the soil is degrading, if the soil is degrading, or if the soil erosion has been occurring, then it will impact the food productivity, and when the food productivity is impacting, the whole ecosystem of food supply chain has been threatening, and when the whole food supply chain is threatening, then there are a lot of issues arising amongst the world. One of the malnutrition, and you can say that the peoples are affected by malnutrition, less nutritious foods. There are so many diseases which are related to protein, which are related to fat. You have to mention this type of questions, you have to mention this type of answer. Okay, now we are again moving forward to the another question. Discuss the views on W.M. Davis and Voltaire Peng on the cycle of erosion. We all are know that this is the most favorite question of optional. Discuss the views of W.M. Davis. We all are know that W.M. Davis cycle is an idealistic normative deductive model, and where the W.M. Davis model is time dependent model, whereas the Peng's model is time independent model. In the W.M. Davis model, Davis model is the unicellular, unicyclic model of erosion, and it is basically the model of where the Davis is more focusing on the only the one erosional factor is river, and we all are know that the very famous trio concept of Davis, structure, processes, and time. Structure, processes, and stages. Every landform is a functional or the outcome or the product of structure, time, and processes. And in the Voltaire Pink, in the Pink model, Pink is considered time independent model, and it considered the stages, not it considered the phases, not stages. Davis consider the stages and Pink consider the phases. You have to just simply say that there are so many difference. Like W.M. Davis says that cycle of erosion start from after the upliftment has been completed of the mountain. When the upliftment or the development of mountain has been completed, then the cycle of erosion has been start, and after the base level has been reached, then there are so many monadnocks and planipenis rest. In the Voltaire Pink, cycle of erosion is start from the togetherness with upliftment of mountain as well as the erosion, and it is start from prima rump and end from the end rump, where the inselbergs are the rest. Okay, now in the another question, what is right on the right note on environmental pollution? We all are know that the environmental pollution is a very big and wider term. All type of pollution like the air pollution, water pollution, noise pollution, nuclear pollution, all the pollutions, you have to just write down more content, because in this question, these questions are very wide open. So you have to write all the pollutions, because all the pollution is um, connected to the environment. So all the pollution which are, there are so many types of pollution. You have to just simply mention all the types and put on all the types of pollution in your answer sheet. So in this question there is a limitless discussion has been possible, but this is not the purpose of this video. Making the purpose of this video ki explain all the dimension, just only give you the hint what kind of answer you can built on during your examination. Okay. Now we are moving to the another section. Answer the following questions. Discuss the relevancy of stop and go determinism. This is very important. Discuss the relevancy of stop and go determinism in the present day context. Stop and go determinism. What is the means of determinism? We all are know that determinism is something which is fixed. Determinism is something where the nature is supreme and the mans are treating as a slave of nature. Mans are fully dependent on the nature, and nature modified all the structures, and humans have no right, or you can say that the very limited or the certain rights to modify the structures. So you have to just simply mention determinism. Stop and go. Stop and go determinism, it means the determinism which talks about the limited control, and again which talks about the possibilistic, some kind of possibilistic way. So you have to just mention this. And the next question, write a short note on plate tectonics in about 300 words. Again, there is a favorite question. Plate tectonics is a very vague term. You have to just simply talks about what is plate, and the term plate is used by Tuzo Wilson or James Tuzo Wilson, J.T. Wilson in 1962, and you have to mention what is tectonic and how many group of scientists are put forward the postulation regarding the plate tectonic, and you have to just simply mention the types of plate tectonic, how many types of plate. There are two type of plate on the basis of a structure. One is the continental plate, one is the oceanic plate. On the basis of density, there are two plates. One is the less denser plates like the continental plates, one is the heavier plates, one is a oceanic plate. We all are know that the continental plates are made up by granite and gneiss, and it is made up by felsic rocks. Oceanic plates are made up by basaltic rocks. So you have to keep in your mind these type of thoughts, and you have to just maintain how many numbers of major plates, micro plates, mini micro plates. You have to just put all the numbers and make the diagram, and then you have to focus on the mechanism of plate tectonic. There are three types of movement. One is the convergent, second one is the divergent, and third one is a parallel movement. So you have to just mention all the movements. One is a convergent movement, one is a divergent movement, one is a parallel movement. When the plates are converging, we all are know that when the plates are converging, the heavier plates subduct under the less heavier plates. When the plates are subducting, when the plates are going deeper, with increasing depth, temperature will increase, and it led to the condition of seismicity, it will lead to the condition of volcanicity, it will lead to the condition of tsunami. There are so many things you have to put down, you have to write down in your answer. In the divergent movement, just simply the plates are diverging in a three stage. When the plates are diverging, the first stage is cracking, second stage is fracturing, and the third stage is when the plates are drifting, or when the faults has been created, when the plates are separating from each other. You have to just simply mention this. And the third movement is the parallel movement, where there is a no volcanicity, only there is a low to moderate, there is a seismicity when the two plates are moving in an opposite direction. So these are the kind of information you have to keep in your mind, and whenever you are writing the question, you have to structuring these type of fundamental things in your mind. Now we are again move to the we are again move to the another question. The climate change. Climate change is a serious problem to the global food security and poverty eradication. You have to mention climate change is a serious problem to the global food security and poverty eradication. So yes, climate change, you have to just simply mention in this question, what is climate change? What is climate change? And we all are know that climate change is something which change in the energy quantum, which change in the energy equation quantum, and climate change is a cyclic process. We have to know that in the past, geological history, there are so many climate change. So why the peoples are afraid about this change? Because of the anthropogenic regions, the rate of acceleration, the rate of changing, the rate of acceleration of the climate change has been rapid because of the greenhouse gas emission. So we all are know that if the temperature has been increases, then the climatic latitudinal climatic zones has been changed, because if the more and more temperature has been kept by the greenhouse gases, it will re-radiate back on the earth's surface, and it will lead to the condition of constant increasing of the temperature. When the constant increasing of temperature has been, you can say that constant increasing of temperature has been increasing in a very rapid rate, so it will change the all the climatic zones, it will hamper the agricultural productivity, it will hamper all the ecological cycle and the ecosystem cycle, it will hamper the environment. Because if the climate has been changed, then the temperature has been changed. When the temperature has been changed, it means the rainfall pattern has been changed. When the rainfall pattern has been changed, it means the vegetational pattern, the soil, nature of soil has been changed. When the nature of soil has been changed, it means the productivity and the crop pattern has been changed. So you have to write down in a very holistic manner whenever these type of questions come in your examination. You have a lot of content, and you cannot be scattering in this weak or wide type of questions. You have to certain make the points, certain points, and you have to write down in a very structured manner. Okay, now we are again going to the section B. We are again going to discuss the section B. Another, write a short note on world energy crisis. Whenever the term world energy crisis, we all are know that the term world energy crisis came into existence in into existence in 1970s. It is connected to the Arab crisis, where the Arab petroleum and natural gas players are controlling the price and raising the price. So world is facing energy crisis because the resources are unevenly distributed. Resources are unevenly distributed throughout the world, because we all are know that the main concentration of the petroleum and natural gases are concentrated on the West Asia. And because of West Asia is highly disturbed, because West Asia is periodically facing so many crisis and warlike situations, so it will you can say that the petrol diplomacy has been come into the context of geopolitics, and this world energy crisis has been connected to the petro diplomacy. And with the passage of time, every 5 to 10 years, the price will be rising high and high, go higher. So this crisis has been related to the world energy crisis. In the second question, write a short notes on the concept of limits of growth. Yes, limits of growth. The context tell us that there is a limits of growth. It means it is the concept of very pessimistic approach, where the limits of growth model says that the food crisis and the crisis is fixed. It cannot be you can say that wash out. It can be only delayed. The resources are limited, and resources are, you can say that, fixed. So that you can develop the technology and extend the crisis, but you cannot be end the crisis. So you have to mention in these way to handle the question. Next question, write and short notes on types of farming. What is the types of farming? You have to just simply talks about what is farming and put at all the types of farming. There is a intensive farming, there is extensive farming, there is a horticulture, there is a olericulture. There are so many ways, and there are so many farming types. You can put down the terrace farming, can put down, you can say that you can put down the home farming. There is aquaculture, you can also put it down in this. Next question, write a short notes on primate city. We all are know that the primate city is the concept proposed by the Jefferson, where Jefferson says that the primate city is the city which have at least more than 2 times in all the contexts like population, resources, 2 times more than the second hierarchical cities. The primate city have more functionality, primate city have more burden, primate city have more population congestion, primate city have the burden of resources. We have to just simply mention all these things. Write a short notes on the rank size rule. We all are know that in India there is a rank size rule. There is a rank size rule in India because UP is a district. UP is a state where the rank size rule of urbanization we find out, where there is a development of Noida, there is a development of Ghaziabad, there is a development of Agra, there is a development of Lucknow, there is a development of Prayagraj, there is a development of Banaras. There is a hierarchical or the rank size rule of the development. So in this question you have to tell about the rank size rule. What is rank size rule? It is the urban hierarchical development, how the cities have been developing, and it is, you can say that, the opposite of the primate city. In the next question, write a short notes on the regional imbalance. Write a short notes on regional imbalance. In the regional imbalance, why? Because there are so many reasons of the regional imbalance, because one of the major reason is natural factors, because the physiographic settings in a particular nation have so many physiographic settings. Somewhere there is a mountain, somewhere there is a plateau, somewhere there is a plain, somewhere there is a tough terrain, somewhere there is a facility of irrigation, there is availability of fertile lands, there is availability of water, somewhere there is a drought prone area, somewhere there is a area which is in the rain shadow area, and somewhere the areas are receiving more rain. So there is a lot of natural imbalance or the regional imbalance in any country, and it will more severe, it will more dangerous, it will more, you can say that, it will more worse when the political policies, when the government is very pessimistic, when the government's approach is not developing, not making the plans for each and every regions in a separate manner, in the individual manner, in the focusing on all the regions. So you have to just talks about the regional imbalance, why one reason is a natural and second reason is a dynamic reason, where the government policy, where the approaches of humans, where the behavior, where the culture, there are so many variations. You have to put it down just simple. In the last question, of section 5, write a short notes on the demographic transition. Demographic transition, whenever the word demographic transition, it again there is a beauty of geography. Geography itself tells the meaning of the topic. Demographic transition, it means it shows the some kind of changes. So demography facing so many changes. In the first stage, when the agrarian societies is, there is a high mortality rate and high fertility rate. When the society has been changed gradually, the fertility rate is high and the mortality rate goes down. And the third stage, in the later phase, where the fertility is goes down and mortality is goes down. In the last stage, where the mortality and fertility rate are equal, you have to just simply mention the demographic transition in this manner. Okay, now we are moving to the another section, section number 6. Answer the following question. Discuss cause and consequence of population migration in India, in world. Discuss the cause and consequences. Firstly, in this question, there is a cause of migration, and the consequences, that means the impact of migration. Population migration in the world. We all are know that migration is something when the group of people or the individual migrate from one region to another region. And there are two type of migration. One is a immigration, there is a immigration. And migration, because of, there are two factors. One is a pull factor, one is a push factor. Push factors, where the peoples are not wanting to migrate because of the so many situation where the peoples are not staying and the peoples are not safe to stay, and peoples are, you can say that the peoples are in the condition of dilemma. If we stay in this region, so we cannot be develop overall all the facilities which we want, that state and that region cannot be provided. These are the push factors, like the better facility of the living, better infrastructure, better education, better health facilities, and the better and democratic structures of the government, and where the where there is a no any kind of political stress. If the political stress, then the peoples are migrating because of push factor. There are so many pull factors which are the factors which are attracting, like Mumbai, Delhi are the have the great pull or the centripetal force which attracts the people from all over the India to move and settle down in Delhi because of the betterment, because of the more wantness of the development. So in the world context, there are two type of factors, like the in the Gaza, in Syria, the peoples are migrating because of push factor. But from India to take a good education from Europe, from US, this is the pull factor, because people have the mindset that Oxford University have good facility, good quality of education, so we can overall develop and groom ourselves. Suppose that if the person is suffering from cancer, they are wanting the good treatment to prevent and increase the lifespan of the man, so the man is pulling from one region to the another region. So, and in this second segment, you have to just discuss what is the impact. What is the impact? So, in the consequences, there are so many impact. We all are know that it will lead to the condition of population change, and somewhere they where the peoples are accumulating, there is a high population density, and there is a congestion, there is a development of slum areas. Why the peoples are wanting to move on a one city, and there is a burden on the city, and the city cannot be more developed because of too much population. Cities development has been saturated. There is a slum, there is a crime, there is a chances and the problems of security, there is a lot of human trafficking. There are so many problems has been created. Okay, now in the next question, bring out the main points of difference between central place theory of Christoller, and Loss. We all are know that the central place theory is the theory. Central place theory is the central place theory is the theory of Christaller, is based on supply of goods and services. And Christaller talks about the 7 hierarchical system. Christaller principles are based on marketing principle, based on transportational principle, based on administrative principle, whereas the loss is not give any new theory, it only modified the Christaller's theory. And loss is saying that the central place is not the point of goods and services, it is the manufacturing point. Manufacturing points, manufacturing hub. So in this context, you have to just simply mention this. Okay, now in the next question, compare and contrast the Malthusian and neo Malthusian perspective in context of population growth, resource use, and environmental impact. Compare the Malthusian theory. We all know that the Malthusian theory is the theory of relation between the population growth and the food, and there is a stage where the population is more and the food scarcity or the food gap between two graph, one is a food graph, one is a population graph, where the on the geometrical rate the population has been increases, and on the arithmetical rate there is a food production has been increases at the certain point of time where the population is increasing. So or very rapid manner, where the food cannot be growth at that rapid manner. So there is a gap between food and population, and it will lead to the condition of food crisis, and the you can say that the food crisis and the population, you can say that the crisis of food. And in neo-malthusian theory is also said this, but not in a very, you can say that the pessimistic way. Now, new Malthusian theories are saying that yes, this is true when the population is population growth in on the basis of geometrical method, and the food is growing on arithmetic, but because of human interference, because of development of human technology, food can be growth in a geometrical way, like the green revolution led to the condition of food growing in a geometrical way along with the population growth. Okay, you have to just mention all these things. Okay, now in the next question, now in the next question, write a short notes, write a short notes on concept of nation and state. We all are know that what is the concept of nation and state. We all are know that the concept of nation is the group of people which sharing the same culture, same ethnicity, same emotion. And you can say that the nations are the concept of emotional concept, where the same group of peoples with the same ethnicity, with the same mutual bonding, the peoples are living in a particular territory. State is something which is vague term, which is not mandatory. The peoples are bonding with a common culture and common emotion. So you have to just simply mention and write down all these things. Okay. On the next question, discuss the Weber's theory of industrial development. In this question, you have to read more and write down all the questions, because this video length has been too increased and it led to the difficulty to watch. So i have I have to compress, because it is mandatory to, with a very less time you have to watch. Okay, in the in the next question, discuss the Weber's theory of industrial location and assess its relevancy in the present day context. Weber's theory of industrial location. We all are know that the Weber's theory of industrial location talks about the nature of industry and how and where industry can be located. If suppose that the nature of industry is weight gaining, so if the industry's nature is gaining, so that industry should be located near the market. If the industry is weight losing, so the industry should be located near the raw material. If the industry is neutral, neither it weight gaining nor it weight losing, the industry in this context should be near the market. But if the market is single and the raw material is two, then you have to always assess the position of the raw materials. Either the raw materials are ubiquitous, or the raw materials which are found everywhere, or the raw materials are ubiquitous, which are found only in a particular location, like iron ore is a ubiquitous, and like water and transportation, soil, climate is the ubiquitous, which found in all where. So you have to just remind all these things, and you have to put the Weber's theory of industrial location, and after that assess its relevancy in the present day context. What are the relevancy of present day context? Okay, we are again moving forward to the next question. Development development planning has a component of environmental cost. Development planning has a component of environmental cost. It means development uh, cannot be doing without environmental cost. Development can be possible of the damaging of environment. This question is, the sense of this question is, development planning has a component of environmental cost. Discuss. It means this question says that development in the cost of environmental degradation. Yes, We all are know that the urbanization, industrialization, there is a lot of environmental degradation, there is a lot of environmental destruction, there is a lot of unscientific in environmental exploitation, so that it can be, we can say that development planning has the component of environmental cost, but nowadays we are moving towards the sustainable development. We are developing a smart city, we are developing the industrial corridor along with the green belts. So you have to manage all these things in this manner. Okay, now we are moving towards the another question. Discuss the following question. Discuss the views of Von Thunen on agricultural location. We all are know that the Von Thunen's agricultural model is a locational model which talk about what kind and what type of agricultural products are on which position and which distance. So it is the model which talks about the distance, it is the model which talks about the agricultural location, what kind of crops has been cropping and what type of crop has been cropping in a which distance. So it talks about this. Okay, now we are moving to the another question. Define the term biome. Define the term biome, list the terrestrial biomes and describe the characteristics of the savanna biome. We all are know that the biome is the term which talks about the homogeneous condition for any kind of flora and fauna, any kind of geological and botanical development of flora and fauna on that particular region. And in this question you have to discuss terrestrial biomes. Terrestrial biome, it means the biome which is savanna, prairies, all type of biome like equatorial rainforest to the monsoonal type of climate, savanna and Sudan type of climate, desert type of climate, China type of climate, prairies type of climate, British type of climate, Mediterranean type of biome climates. You have to just mention. Okay, now in the next question, Marx's view on the population is more humanistic. Yes, Marx's view on the population is more humanistic because Marx's view on the population is the view on the basis of socio-economic welfare. Marx's view on the population is more humanistic, yes, because Marx says that 10% people have acquired 99% of resources and 90% people have only 1% of resources. There is a highly imbalanced, and according to Marx says that in the elite class or the capitalist class cannot be produce more population because they cannot be digest the distribution of resources in so many hands, but in the poor class or the working class or the laborer class, you can say that produce a lot of peoples because they wanting more hand to more income. They are working on the philosophy of more hand to more income, so that there is a highly imbalance. And Marx view on population is more humanistic because Marx says that कि जो labor class है, labor class have more resources, there is a acquirement of resources, there is occupancy of resources more in the hand of laborer as compared to capitalists, because the capitalist class are the very few class and in the context of population, and they acquire the more resources. So you have to mention all these things in this manner. I hope that video will give you a lot of insight and lot of approaches how to approach the question, what kind of a structure and what kind of ingredient you can inculcate in your answer. Okay, so my last suggestion ki go and read the instruction properly, and without panic you have to attempt the questions in a very positive manner. Nothing can be beyond your capacity. Go and believe yourself and crack it. Okay, wish you all the best.